Hello everybody, we are live. It is that time again. I say that time again. This was a relatively unplanned live stream. I had an email come through from somebody wanting specifically to ask about this very subject, which is how to fix red bars in Guitar Pro, and I thought, well, I could respond to this email or I could do a live stream, because live streams are great fun. I guess I could have filmed a video on it, but also daily transcription. I put up a daily transcription every single day, but I'm not going to say I don't have one for today. I do have one for today, but I'm going to post it tomorrow. I need to catch up. I need to sit down and do a bunch of transcriptions. Hello, Scott. How are you? I hope you are well. Let me know how the levels are. Let me know that you can hear everything okay. Everything should be okay. This stream shouldn't be too long. I'm going to walk you through the process, and then I'm going to make a little start on a transcription that I'm going to be posting as a daily transcription soon. So yeah, if you enjoy what you see, share the stream. Sharing the stream is important. Sharing the stream is helpful. So I'm going to sit around here for a little bit until we have a few people pop on. And then once some people are online, I will get started on teaching. So I'm going to share this in a few places. How do I do that? Let's post this on the Patreon and Discord. I have set the chat to be open for people who are subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, you won't be able to participate in the chat. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. That's good. That's helpful. Helps the channel. Where is this share? There we go. Cool. But once again, I am here. Diego Guitarist, how's it going? Brandon Morris, good to see you, mate. We're getting some people online. Fantastic. Help a brother out. This is going to be a really useful educational stream, and it's going to be kind of a lot of fundamentals of music. So if you could share this on social media in any groups that you're in. Groups, we want new people. We want new people to see what this channel is about. And the best way, or the easiest way, to start achieving that is having you guys help me out with sharing things. Because guess what? It's funny, right? If I share my videos, people don't want to watch them because they're like, oh, well, it's just the guy who makes the video sharing the videos. Whereas if you share my videos, they're like, oh, it's not the guy sharing the videos. This will probably be worth checking out. It's a big help. 2 seconds, just getting it posted up on my transcriptions page, and then we will get started. It's a very good question that we're going to be looking at today. So, and something that I get it's a kind of subject of conversation that I have to have with students a lot, unfortunately. I wish there actually is a quick and easy fix to this, but you'll see what I mean. So, okay, let's move this here. Right. Where are you guys? Okay, we've got some people online. Right, I'm going to read some comments and then get started. So, hey Levi, hey, hello, hey Levi, hey Levi, lice. Oh, let's try that again. Hey Levi, live. Nice anagram. I see what you mean. Yeah. Hi, education. All right, I'm out. Yeah. I hope everyone is well. This, as I say, it's going to be a pretty simple stream because, of course, I am an educator. You knew it was going to happen, guys. I'm really sorry. I am an educator, so do go and grab a copy of Guided Practice Routines for Guitar. This book's doing really well, and it wouldn't do really well without you guys. So, actually, if anyone's watching and you already have a copy of this, let me know in the comment section. Just let me know. You'll see why. Just let me know. Right, so the focus of the stream today is I got an email from a chap by the name of Isaac, and Isaac emailed me and said, hey Levi, I just recently got Guitar Pro 8 and have been watching some of your tutorial videos. I've gotten the hang of using the arrow keys and tabbing out the basics, but I can't get a grasp on how the red bars work. I know that they mean that there are either too many notes or too few notes. Sorry, he says beats, but I can't tell whether I have too many or too few. And he also has problems with the audio track. That was a different question, which I answered via email. This is one that I thought was worth talking about. So, of course, Isaac, the first thing that I have to say to something like that is, when you say I can't tell whether I have too many or too few, what that tells me is that you're using a lot of guesswork. It really is as simple as that. You're using far too much guesswork. If you imagined for a second like a carton of eggs that holds, let's say, 12 eggs. You have this carton of eggs that holds 12 eggs. You should be able to tell whether the carton is full or not full. You should be able to tell if it's overfull. And it's essentially the same process here. It's the same mindset that you have to get into. There's no guesswork involved with any of this. I know that when I put 12 eggs in my egg carton, I know that the carton is going to be full and I won't be able to fit any more notes in it, any more eggs in it. You see where I'm going with this. When it comes to putting notes in a bar, you need to know how much space you have available in that bar. If you're unaware of how much space, if you don't comprehend the concept of how much space exists in a bar and you can't count that out, then you're one step ahead of where you should be in terms of your study and your application of your music knowledge. So we need to know that. It's incredibly important that we know that. And I'm going to break it down for you today and make it pretty simple. And we're going to give you some examples, and then we're going to do a little bit of transcribing, and you will see exactly where I'm going with things. So let me jump back over to the stream. Pains with those red bars too. Yeah, we're gonna help you, Scott. Like my notes, sunny side up. Very, very good. Very good. Right. So what do I mean when I talk about red bars? Well, let me bring this up. So here's a transcription. We won't use that. I did this for a client today. This is a transcription that I did a couple of days back of Comfortably Numb. This is a live version of Comfortably Numb, and this is going to go on YouTube tomorrow. And as you can see, everything looks fine. Everything looks fine. And the reason everything looks fine is because each bar, each carton of eggs, if you like, has the correct amount of eggs in it to say that it's full. If I were to take... All right, Fred, if I were to take just a single note out of any one of these bars, right? If I take this note out and I'll get rid of the rest, this carton is now no longer full and it shows up red because of that. If I put too many eggs in the carton, the bar will show up as red. It's warning you, it's telling you that this bar is incorrect. Now, so up here, it's very hard to process this, but it does tell you that the bar is too long. And if you look at the numbers here, like it's very complicated. If I bring up a more simple example at the end of the transcription, actually I'll bring up a new one. So if I just bring up an electric guitar and I write in 4 notes, what you can see here is that number-wise, I can't really zoom in on that any more than that. But if you're doing this yourself and you look at that, you'll see it currently, if I delete everything, it says 0 of 0 for 0. I'm not entirely sure how you interpret this, but what I can tell you is that this second number here is telling us how many beats are in the bar. And when I start putting beats in, we now have 1 beat in the bar, 2 beats in the bar, 3 beats in the bar, 4 beats in the bar. It then lit up green to tell me that the bar is complete. When I then move on to the next button, if you like, it will allow me to go to the next bar because the bar is complete, the carton is full. If I change the rhythms, you'll see now that we have 0.5. So this bar currently has 0.5 of 4 beats, so half of 1 beat in there. And when I start filling, why am I using enter? It's like I forgot how Guitar Pro works. When I do something like that, right, the bar is complete. If I did this, it's telling me that I have 3.5 of 4 beats in the bar. So it's telling me that there are not enough notes in the bar. If I did this, it's now telling me I have 4.5 of 4 beats. So you can use that as a way of telling you whether you have too many beats or not enough beats. You would think that this is something that I never, ever, ever, ever look at. Never look at. And it's essentially I never, ever, ever, ever look at it. The only time I sometimes will reference it is when I'm doing very complicated nested tuplets in compound time signatures. So those can get really complicated for my brain. My brain can struggle to process things like that. If I look at what have I done recently that had some of that stuff in there? Did I do some in the Tim Lurch Georgia transcription? I feel like there was some in the Tim transcription. I might have ended up taking it out and simplifying the rhythm. Yeah, evidently I simplified that rhythm. What are we going to get? And the Jason solo? Is there something in the Jason solo? I don't know. No, there's not. When we're dealing with complicated, very, very complicated tuplets, do some appear in here maybe? Probably not. When I'm dealing with incredibly complicated tuplets, they actually do come in handy to tell me that I've got too many, because nested tuplets inside of tuplets in compound time signatures, very complicated, and yeah, they can be really, really useful for that. That's like having, unlike having an egg carton that contains 12 eggs, and you're used to seeing egg cartons that contain 12 eggs, suddenly somebody gives you an egg carton that contains 1,064 eggs, and you just need to know how many more eggs can fit in it. It's harder to spot the solution. So that is the first thing to consider. This little thing up here is going to tell us whether we have enough or too much, if the bar is short or if the bar is long. Sometimes I can speak. Now, Fred, who just commented there, did comment on my Discord earlier and point out that there is actually another way of doing this. So if I make this bar too long, okay, too many eggs in this carton, you can, and I don't recommend this, Fred suggested it as a joke, but you can actually go up into File, you can go to Preferences, and in Preferences you will see Score Errors. So when errors are detected in your score, the symbols are displayed in red. Choose the errors to scan for. So when a bar comes up red, it's essentially telling you that there's an invalid bar length. Makes sense, right? If I turn that off, now bars won't display as red. This doesn't fix your problem because the MIDI playback is still confused by this. But it will remove the red bars. I think the best way to remove the red bars is to fix the problem, not eliminate the fact that someone's looking for the problem. There are a couple of other things like invalid tuplets, invalid hammer-ons and pull-offs. I'm not even sure how or what an invalid hammer-on or pull-off is. Unreachable bars when playing. This is when you're using like coders and del segnos and the just directions in music. I don't tend to have that on because I'm not a big user of sections. Anyway, let's jump in and do the lesson type thing. So the first thing that you have to get your head around when we're doing this, when we're doing anything like this, is what a bar is. Rests in music notation. Yeah, rests in music notation. So you have to have the concept of what a bar is. So over here you can see some Paul Gilbert. I'm going to be transcribing this maybe later today. Now when you get into that complicated stuff there where you're playing a lot of notes, that's where things can be complicated, and you can end up placing more notes in a transcription than there should be, more notes in a bar than there should be. But if we just look at the first part, this makes a lot of sense. If I subdivide this by 4, we can now see very clearly in our transcription 4 individual beats. Here's a beat, here's a beat, here's a beat, here's a beat. Now, I have to put a lot of emphasis on this. The difference between a good transcriber and a bad transcriber is good transcribers understand that what they're doing is they're notating things for other people to interpret. And because of that, there are conventions that we use that make reading easier. There are conventions we use to make reading easier, and there are things that amateur transcriptionists do. And I don't mean just like people that are pretending to be professionals. I mean guys like yourselves, right, who are new to transcription. You're just sort of trying to learn how to do it, where you math out a rhythm. Like if I go ba 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 ba, Rhythmically, what I've done there is this. Okay, that's what I just did there. Ba, 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 ba. Amateur transcriptionists will often write that like this. Now, I would struggle to read that. It's the same thing if I do this. And then this. It's functionally the same thing. But the convention, and I'm very strict about this convention, is we should always be able to see the middle of the bar. So rather than having a dotted eighth note there, I have tied these notes. It's less of a hard rule to have to insist on always being able to see beat 2. If in a very modern setting you could have it written like that, I guess some people might allow that. Again, I don't like that. That confuses my brain, and I can tell you why. It's because this is a rhythm I learned to read. This is like seeing my name written on a page. And if I were to jump over here and say, Levi Clay transcribes, yeah? You see those words, and you've seen all of these words before, so they don't appear new to you. But if I wrote it like this, oh, that's hurting my brain. Sorry, need an R in there, don't I? Yeah, it's incorrect. This is, to me, the equivalent of writing things out with the wrong rhythmic information. You can process it. You can work out what it means. I guess the other good example of it is when you see words and they're spelled, but the numbers are the letters are all jumbled up. So, for example, I could write. Your brain can just about. I mean, I've kind of broken some of the conventions there. Usually, you want to see the first and last letters written out correctly, and then you jumble up everything in between. But I think this is not impossible to read. Yeah, you can. I think you could kind of speed read through stuff like that, but it's spelt incorrectly. So understanding the conventions of written rhythms will help you to process how rhythms should be written. But more importantly, when it comes to struggling with red bars, it's going to allow you to be able to look at your bars and break it down into smaller sections, right? So before, we were talking about an egg carton full of 12 eggs. But an egg carton full of 12 eggs would be much easier for you to process if you were looking at an egg carton full of 12 eggs, but really you were thinking of 3 lots of 4. It's processing things in smaller pieces of information. So this comfortably numb transcription that I've done, there are, because it's quite slow, Gilmore does push and pull all the time a lot. Rhythmically, this is very, very complicated because it's so slow, right? There's some stuff in here that, you wouldn't necessarily want to read this stuff. But what you can always say when you look at this transcription, no matter what bar you look at, you can always look at the notation and highlight a bar. Always. Here's a beat. Sorry, not a bar. Here's a beat. Here, from that rest and those 2 triplets, that's a beat. Here's a beat. Here's a beat. If you're at the stage in your transcription progress, your life as a transcriber, learning to transcribe, and you're unable to do that, that's something you should work on. You should look at my transcriptions, go to any transcription, and of course you can get these transcriptions all on my Patreon page. If I bring up this Pennies for Bob transcription, this is Scotty Anderson. When I look at this, every beat in this is clear. When I look at what have we got? The Gilbert solo on Scarified. When I look at this, every beat, I can, no matter where I go, I can say there's a beat. there's a beat. They're grouped together. I can see them very clearly. This helps in reading. That's the example of the weird tuplet. You can write that in a more simple way, but in the end I decided with that because I liked it. Let's just go one more. The Chris Buck solo. So when I look at this, again, we're in 12/8, so the beat is different, but you can still always see, here's a beat, here's a beat, here's a beat, here's a beat. It makes processing easier. Here's a beat, that's beat 2. I don't have to count my way to find it. I can see very clearly, there's beat 2. No matter where I go, here's beat 3, here's beat 3, here's beat 2. I can see them incredibly clearly. There are a couple of times where you might necessarily have to do a tuplet that spreads across 2 beats, but just as a basic rule, that's something that you have to get your brain around. You have to really understand that. So, how do we go about beginning to practice that? Well, the first step is understanding what rhythms we're likely to see. Okay, so we need to know that these are what we would call quarter notes. Why do I keep hitting enter? These would be quarter notes. Okay, there are 4 of them in a bar. These would be 8th notes. There are 8 of them in a bar. These would be 16th notes. There's 16 of them in a bar. These would be 32nd notes. Guess what? There's 32 of them in a bar. These would be 64th notes. There's 64 of them in a bar, right? You can just keep doing that. The point is, these you never come up against these, so don't worry about them. You very rarely, in your early stages, you're not going to come up against these, so don't worry about them. But these we need to understand. We need to understand all of these. Now, there are other rhythms that are important and you have to be able to read, like these are half notes. Each one takes up 2 beats. This is a whole note. It takes up 4 beats. But having this basic understanding of rhythmic subdivisions and being able to see them and process them is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important. So when you are looking at working out your bars, when you're notating your music, it's very, very important that no matter what you write, so if I write this, followed by this, followed by this, I like this example. If I write this, just this, I know that this is beat 1. Here, I've got 2 16th notes. This is the first half of beat 2. So in order to, finish beat 2, I would have an 8th note in there. If I did this, the only option I would have now would be another 16th note to finish that beat. It could tie into the next note, but it's very important to me that I have that 16th note, not an 8th note, because this is going to be harder to read. And if you do something like that, you end up in this weird position where suddenly, go away, where suddenly you're like, why is this bar incomplete? I think this bar should be complete. And no matter what you're doing, you're like, it's not finishing. Is it this? Is it this? And then before you know it, you're in this horrible mess where you're just making, a mess of the thing that you're doing. You're scrambling to try and finish the bar. But if you were to take a step back and go, okay, there's beat 1, dotted 8th note, 16th note. Here's beat 2, 2 16th notes and an 8th note. Beat 3, I've got a 16th note, a 16th note, a 16th note, and an 8th note. This is more than a beat. I need to fix this. This last note may actually last for an 8th note, totally. But in order to write that, I'm going to write it as a 16th note tying into another 16th note. Now I can see where beat 3 is, and I can see where beat 4 is. And suddenly I'll look at this and go, that's why I can't work out how long that last note is. It needed to be a 16th note. So this as a process is really important. Now, it's really worth pointing this out. I'm going to go over to this Gilmore transcription. I'm just going to butcher it, okay? I'm just going to do a few things to butcher it. This is going to be a lot harder to fix. And the reason I say that is because there's a difference between looking at a bar and saying, well, how many notes too many do I have here? Or how many notes too few do I have here? And fixing that. And being able to look at the bar and go, okay, well, this is the thing that's incorrect in here. You know, there's no way for me to know where the mistake is in this bar. The only thing I can tell you is that there's a 64th note too many in this bar. That's all I can tell you. No, actually, I know what I did to it, so I guess I can fix it. So I would be able to fix this. And all right, I'm lucky in this because I can look at this and go, okay, well, here's beat 1. Here's beat 2. Here's beat 3. Okay, hang on, let me just check this. We've got a 16th note and a 16th note. That's the second half of beat 3. And here, we've got a 16th note and two 32nd notes, which would be the first half of beat 3. But I can see that there's a dot on the end of this. This is actually giving this more rhythmic value. So that would actually balance that beat out and make that correct. The point that's really important to understand is that in order to be able to do this stuff, you have to transcribe basic rhythmic material and not think about running before you can walk. It's very, very important that you're not running before you can walk. I don't know what I changed in this. It's going to be very difficult for me to fix that now. I would have to go back to the audio and check each beat and go, okay, well, is this beat correct? And just think about what I've said there. Is this beat correct? That's the solution to all of this is always going to be, is this beat correct? If you're constantly making these mistakes where you're go back and watch any of my live streams. There must be, 50, 100 of them on YouTube where I transcribe for hours. How many times do you see me typing out a bar and then moving into the next bar and the previous bar coming up red? It almost never, ever happens, right? Because I'm very aware of the amount of space that I have in a bar. And that's the thing you need to be thinking about. Can you suggest some material or places to get some really basic material for transcribing? Lots of stuff I want to do is complex. Yeah, of course. I'm going to close this because all these red bars are upsetting me. I think the sad thing here is, I think you know the answer to the question there. You just don't like the answer to the question, right? A nursery rhyme. Take a nursery rhyme. Could you write out rhythmically? I'm not even worrying about pitch. Could you write out rhythmically bar bar black sheep? Could you click your finger and process the rhythm of bar bar black sheep? Ba 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 da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Could you write that out? I'm just going to write the rhythm. I'm not worried about the pitch. Bum 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 ba da 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 da. That'd be your first step, right? Can you do that without hesitation? And then the next thing you'd have to ask yourself, and you have to be really, really honest with yourself. Really honest with yourself. How's it going, Kirby? You have to, and you were talking to me earlier about transcription, so now you're seeing something that you should be working on. And this is actually going to be really important for you as well, mate. So once you can do something like that, you then have to be able to ask yourself, okay, well, let's look at this. Could I clap this rhythm? Can I see this rhythm and know what it's going to sound like? 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll write out a different rhythm to something else, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And then I just want you to think about it for a second and go, can I work out what this is? Or what it would sound like, sorry. Okay, there's a rhythm for you. I made it a little bit more complicated. And we've covered this on, weekly guided practice routines on Patreon, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of it moving forward. In fact, probably a good time. This stream is brought to you by my wonderful supporters over on Patreon. If you want to be like these awesome people, check out the link in the description where you can join us for weekly guided practice routines. You can get access to weekly guided ear training sessions. You can get access to hundreds of transcriptions, and you can get access to all of my cool groups, like my Discord server and my Facebook group, and all of that good stuff. You need to know the basic reading stuff, yeah, absolutely. If that doesn't suit, you can also go to Amazon, check out one of my books. Here's the new one. Good use of your time. So, Pocket E, absolutely, yeah, it's Jingle Bells. Let's keep reading your feedback. Ted reads Syncopation for the Modern Drummer book. I like the Encyclopedia of Reading Rhythms, Justin. I think that's a great book. My streams are an invaluable source of information. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Roman. So yeah, this is Jingle Bells. Now, when that's been pointed out to you, maybe it jumps out to you and becomes easier to read. I can look at this and go 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Let's go for another one. We'll go. What's this? Made it more complicated now, right? Put some rests in there. Now, what I'm doing when I was writing that out is I was just singing this melody in my mind and just notating the rhythm for it. These are all... who was it that asked the question originally? Jamie originally asked the question. Was it? Yeah, easy stuff. I'm giving you nursery rhyme stuff, TV themes, very, very simple things. But you have to be realistic with yourself, right? If you can't write out Jingle Bells, or if you can't write out Bar Bar Black Sheep, or if you can't write out this, trying to notate a Paul Gilbert solo is going to require way, way, way too much guesswork on your part. Way too much guesswork. And guesswork just leads to mistakes. You can enjoy Levi Guy's free lesson when you pay $10,000 for music school. Yeah, doing this for 4 hours a day. You're absolutely right, Fred. The Encyclopedia of Reading Rhythms is one that I really like. I also really like William Leavitt's Melodic Rhythms. It's another great book for practicing rhythm. Modern Reading in 4/4 for All Instruments is another book to check out. Yeah, Roman, you're absolutely right. It's a great book. So, has anyone worked out what this is? Could anyone confidently read it? Could anyone just confidently clap this rhythm? Because, of course, I've made this more complicated by adding in rests. There's 8th note rests in here. But at its core, nothing too complicated here compared to some of the things that I know you guys want to be transcribing. And I know, guys, I totally know. You are probably watching the stream thinking, oh man, I want to be transcribing like Dream Theater solos or Derek Truck solos or whatever, right? And you're like, this is so far behind the things that I want to be doing. So far behind. I want to be doing complicated things. Maybe this just isn't for me. If that's your attitude, then yeah, maybe it isn't for you. Music, for any of you out there that are watching this now, music is work. It is. Music is work. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes dedication. And I'm sure all of you watching this are better players than you are transcribers. How? How are you good players? You put in the work and you learned the things you needed to learn. You learned the basic skills. You learned those and you repeated those over and over. And then before you know it, I can tackle a John Petrucci solo, or I can tackle a Zakk Wylde solo, wherever it happens to be that you want to tackle. But you couldn't on your first day tackle a Zakk Wylde solo. You had to build up to it. And it's very important that you're not rushing with this stuff. And I think the real secret to becoming very, very good at music is learning to love the work that you put in. It's learning to love the journey. It's not necessarily, it is about the destination. We all want to be at the destination, but you have to love to learn You have to learn to love the work. You have to learn to love. It's like the gym is easy when you love being in the gym. When you love the burn, being in the gym becomes very easy, right? You have to love putting in the work. I love practicing the piano because I know it's me getting better, and it's not like when you have to try and convince a kid to do practice. You don't have to convince me to do practice because I feel like I'm bettering myself when I do it. So easy for me. You've got to love this stuff. I'm going to give you the answer to what this is in a second. So the kind of stuff that I need to be doing. Appreciate you letting me know this. Would you say knowledge of rhythm is more important than pitch recognition? Yes. Yeah, million percent. Because if I play a note on the piano like this, okay, I don't know what pitch that is. I don't have perfect pitch. But I know that I can pick up my guitar and play every single note until I find that, yeah? I can use trial and error to find the note that it is that I want. Symbols, you are correct. Hang on, did you not give the answer before? You've just changed your name. It is the Flintstones theme. Very good. This note, I can just find it. And likewise, if I'd sing a note, right? If I go... eventually I can find that note, yeah? But there's no equivalent of that for writing rhythms out. You have to know. You have to be able to process. I mean, telling a lie, there is an element of you can use Guitar Pro or whatever MIDI software you're using. You can write the rhythm out and then you can press play and you can listen to it and go, was that correct or was that incorrect? I guess that's a trial and error method. But the problem with that is it'll only get you so far, and also it takes forever. It takes forever. Absolutely forever. Right, Johnny, I'm actually going to read your message now. Hey, Levi, did you say that you don't use sections when writing your transcriptions? Your transcriptions are more linear and don't jump to different sections. Yeah. It depends what I'm writing. It depends what I'm writing out. But you have to remember, like, most of the stuff I'm doing professionally for people is guitar solos of things. And so there's not repetition in guitar solos. If I was writing out a chart for a song, I would be more likely to use the directions key. Like, I know where they are. If I don't need to go and press the button. I can just press the D key, and this will give me things like, I want to go back to the start, and then skip to the coda, or I want to go back to the sign, and then when we get to the coda sign, I'm gonna have I'll put like whoops. If I wrote this, this is going to play this bar, then this bar, then this bar, then this bar. It's then going to go dal segno back to here and play until it tells me to go to the coda, which is here. So at the end of this bar, it will go here. So, I use them occasionally for more arrangement tools. But my transcriptions tend to be exactly that, transcriptions and repetition. People don't want to pay me to do repeats. When I transcribe, do I transcribe all the instruments, including drums? It depends what the job is, Victor. Like, if I open up, I was doing some jobs for somebody just yesterday, I think. Like this. Bass is a bit quiet. Yeah, Elvis. I've been doing some Elvis for a professional Elvis tribute impersonator, and he needs charts for his band, adding new songs in. So sometimes I'll do all instruments, but It depends what the job is. Depends what people are paying, right? In terms of tabbing chords, you tab the bass note, then the melody note, and then you no, you never use theory to fill in. I mean, you can. For me personally, I find the best thing to do is to, you should be able to hear what the bass note is. It's a weird thing to say to me because I can hear what the bass note is and I can hear what the melody note is, and when I think about it, I can hear what the middle notes are. I tend to find that when I hear the low note and hear the high note, I can sing the notes in between. That kind of works for me. Back to cymbals. Yes, this is the Flintstones. Ba 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 ba. No red bars in there because I know what it should be. A good approach to transcribing chords when the guitarist is using non-standard chord shapes and open tunings. You are spot on. Again, I'll have recent things in here that require this. If I open up. This is... I'll probably get in trouble for this because this album hasn't come out yet. But this artist is... nope, not that one. Just tuning on these. Yeah, this is open C. All the guitars in this are open C. So when I hear this, I can transcribe those because I know the guitar player. I know the tuning. Believe it or not, guys, I didn't move over to learn to play the piano and the Hammond organ and like all these other like the drums and all these things I have an interest in without really exploring the guitar. So I have a decent understanding of playing the guitar in several different open tunings, and because of that, it kind of helps with transcribing chords that are in open tunings and non-standard shapes. Also, learning the piano cymbals has just been the best thing in the world for me because you start to, it's not just that you start to hear chords in more detail, you're able to practice chords in richer sounding voicings. Like if I go... There's my pedal. There. This chord voicing... You can't play that on the guitar. So practicing things like that on the piano has been really useful for me. Currently my favourite chord voicing is like this. Play it in a lower register for you. We can actually play that on the guitar. But it's much easier to process those things on the piano, so drive home. Yeah. I'm looking forward to you getting that finished, Jeff, so we can do our big announcement. Anyway, so those are the basics for understanding how to fix red bars. What I want to do now is I'm going to jump over to this Paul Gilbert solo, and I'm going to show you the process in a little bit more depth. So if I listen to this bar. So I think this is 12. Ba-da-da. Next bar. So, more complicated rhythm, but I should be able to look at this and go ba ba da ba da ba da da ba da. I know these rhythms. I've read these rhythms a million times. How much does it cost to transcribe a song with all instruments? A lot of money. Made in Metallica genre, a lot of money. Cost you a lot of money, Victor. I'm not gonna well, it's a couple of things, right? So I've just started a business with Jeff that you can see. Less of a business. I've just given him all my work because I have a waiting list. I have like 100 people waiting for me to do transcription for them that I will never have the time to get around to doing. So it's not that that jobs like that can't be done. It's just that my prices just go up to reflect that. You would be looking at, if you want me to do a Metallica song with 2 rhythm guitars, bass and drums, you'd be looking at £25 per minute of audio as your basic rate. Then I'll add a second instrument in for an additional 15 per instrument. So you're looking at 25 per minute of audio for guitar, then an additional 15 for bass, an additional 15 for drums, and then I'd probably throw in rhythm guitar as a freebie. So all what's that, like 30, 50, 55 pounds ish per minute of audio. So a 5-minute song is going to run you 280 pounds, like a lot of money, because it takes a lot of time. I want to hear more about the red boxes, but one more question. What would be the next step after practicing tab and basic nursery rhymes? Well, things become more complicated. You start working on more complicated things. So after doing basic nursery rhymes, graduate to Hank Marvin transcriptions. When you think about it, a lot of the music that Hank plays is essentially nursery rhymes played on the guitar, right? So I think, doing things like Apache or things like that, they shouldn't be too tricky for you. And then once you've done that, I guess the thing that I haven't really pointed out is nursery rhymes. You're going to tend to be dealing in simple rhythms, quarter notes and eighth notes, and sometimes half notes. When you get into Hank Marvin stuff, you might have the occasional 16th note in there, but it's not going to be a big part of the vocabulary. Then if you jumped on to doing something more complicated, like, I don't know, seeing as Paul Gilbert's here, like some Racer X riffs, things are going to be more complicated. It's just, what you'll find is that the more you do this, the better your brain gets at being able to take a bar and break it down into its constituent parts. And then when you're good at that, you can really sort of understand that, this isn't like, it's like the journey of many miles begins with just one step. And this huge journey feels terrifying, but actually don't focus on how big the journey is. Just focus on the individual step that you need to make and just be methodical about it. You keep taking your steps and you're going to get to your destination. When I sit down and transcribe an entire song for someone, it doesn't scare me. It's not off-putting to me because I just need to be methodical about it. It doesn't matter that the song's 7 minutes long. I'm doing, I'm going to be doing Frank Ambali's albums for Frank soon, all of his albums. That's a lot of work. It's really off-putting. But it starts with just one song, and that song starts with the first bar, and the first bar starts with the first beat. And if you can't look at it and go, okay, can I work out what's going on in the first beat of the first bar of the first song of the first album in the discography, then yeah, too much. Let me keep reading. Fred says, only showed the rhythm, so I think the next logical step would be the melody. So I guess what I'm skipping there is melody. I'm taking melody for granted because I'm of the opinion that anybody out there that wants to transcribe like I'm doing, your pitch recognition is probably already pretty good. You probably can already transcribe in the way that most people on the internet, when they talk about transcriptions, what they're talking about, which is you hear things and you work out how to play them. So you hear it, you maybe sing it, and then you find it on your instrument and you can play along to the record. What you can't do is write it down. Now, why is it you can't write it down? Your pitch recognition is really good because you don't have rhythm recognition and you need the rhythm recognition to write stuff down. What are my feelings if I have any about Sheet Happens transcriptions? They're not done by one person. They're done by different people. I have products that I've transcribed on Sheet Happens. They're very good. They're very accurate. Some of the other stuff is a little bit less accurate, but not, what I would say? It's not like the old days of mxtabs.net or Ultimate Guitar, like you're getting a pretty good product. I have a few of them. That's a Sheet Happens product. It's pretty good. There's definitely some mistakes in there, but it's pretty good. Certainly better than what I had when I was a kid. Guided transcription series of books. So many people have asked, but it's a very, very difficult thing to put into the written form. Very difficult, because we're talking about how to write things out by ear. And I'm already a little bit cagey about the fact that my books are text and audio when video exists. Like, I'm already delivering things in like a less than optimal format. Transcription would be really, really tricky to put in book format. I've struggled with it. So anyway, keep going. Sorry, did we change position somewhere? Where did we change position? I was so busy focusing on the rhythm I didn't check where he played it. That makes more sense. Why did no one point that out? You assholes. You're supposed to be helping me here, not making my life more difficult. Okay, nice good example of rhythm here. When we hear this bar, we have to decide where the first note of the next bar is. And he's floating over the beat here. So there's going to be a degree of quantizing is going to happen here. Rhythmically, I'm hearing... Yeah, so ba da ba. It's a triplet. Da da ba da 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 ba da da. Cymbals. Cymbals. See all these buttons here at the side? These are all cymbals. And it's your job, when you're using a piece of software like this, to look at all of them. Though suddenly I realise that I feel like an asshole because I know the symbol that I know the one that I use isn't there. It used to be there, and they took it away in Guitar Pro 7, I think. I'm highlighting this section. I'm pressing Alt and then up or down, and that'll move things over a string. There used to be a button that you could press to do that, and yeah, for whatever reason they got rid of it. But good observation. So and then let's you could have it as a 6. But yeah, I'm going to put it as a 6 now, and then depending on how the phrase finishes, we might tweak that a little bit. Yeah. This is really like 7 territory. Picking is important with Paul. 2 ways to do this. You could, well, I guess 3. You could do that. I don't like that. You could do this. I don't like that. Or you could do the quantizing approach, which would be this. I'm happier with that. I like the way it looks on the page. I think it looks nice. Yeah, 6 notes. And of course, because the high note appears on the beat. ba ba. I sang the harmony there. Ba 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 da da ba da da. Ba, da, da, da. Here we've got. I'm just deciding if I want to give rhythmic value to that grace note. Yeah, I'm not going to give it rhythmic value. So he's really floating here. Is it minor? This is a 6. I would write this as a 6. The classic Paul Gilbert. We then play this and then he's going to go up and then down because he likes that. Again, just easier rhythmically to process this as being a 6. Triplet. Ba ba ba. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so this is actually this is like a rule break because he's playing a 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. 1. Or you could see it as being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10 notes in the space of 6 eighth notes. 10 eighth notes in the space of 6 eighth notes. But I'm not hearing it as that because I hear him slowing down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. I'm hearing a 7 and a 3 rather than 10 evenly spaced notes. So in order to write this out, I will have to break the rule. I'm going to play a group of 7 in the space of 4, and that will go across the middle of the bar. Like that. It's going to be 7 in the space of 4. Now you could, there is a way that you could split this. So you would do this. Technically you could do that. This is actually a really, really difficult one for me because you know what it is? Like this as a rhythm, I couldn't read it, but I like the way it looks on the page because I can see where the middle of the bar is going to be. But then the previous way I had it, which was like this, I also couldn't read this rhythm. 7/4 is not a rhythm I've practiced reading. Definitely not a rhythm I've practiced reading. Did he change? Oh, he shifted up, but he hasn't played that high note. Kind of like all staccato. Could put vibrato on it. I tend not to put vibrato in a lot of my transcriptions. I feel that's like an articulation thing. You should be able to hear that and you should know that. Red bars drive me nuts, Tim. Sorry guys, I am here. Sorry, just check my emails and I love it when YouTube emails me to tell me that I'm streaming on my channel. Like, I know! Oh, so this is a new thing. Like, I'm going to share this with you. Down here it says ads will run shortly for some viewers. So evidently YouTube is now putting ads in the middle of live streams, and I can press this button and skip those ads for you. There you go. No ads for you. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your help so much. You're more than welcome. More than welcome to. Yeah, I'll do more of them. And obviously I'm doing that thing on Patreon. So if you're not on Patreon, get the link in the description. Support the channel. Let's go. Again, this is like a 7, but more complicated. This one actually goes across the bar line. And I don't think that there's... I guess you'd have to do that rhythm that I did there. Or wanted to avoid doing there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it is. I'm going to write this accurately, and I'm going to hate myself for it because it's going to look awful. It's okay. It'll be that. Hang on, what have I done wrong there? That's accurate. I hate it, but I'd say that's accurate. I love my job. Actually just goes down like a half step there. And then... Again, he's floating so much. I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, I love this recording. You do this. You could do a nested tuplet here. Like this. Get rid of all the nested tuplets. Split that. Does he play that? Oh, it's the triplets. So now I want to reflect on this and see if I like this. The bar would be complete though, so no red bar. No red. Oh, sorry, you can't see it. No red bar. Yeah, it's just... I just don't think there's a good way to write this. Because he's just so laid back. See, I hate the way that, it feels like he's... I need to listen to it a few more times and see if I can... I'm sort of having to mould it like plasticine in my head and go, what would be the best way to have this look on the page? When am I going to transcribe something of Andy James? Go and buy any of the Andy James products available. I did all the transcriptions for them. I've done enough Andy James. I mean, he does slide down before the beat. He definitely slides down before the beat. So you could... Oh, I mean, it's complete. Why is that not... That's better. And then this would be this. This would be... 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. It would be this. You could do it like that. And why won't that beam correctly? You could do that. I think I'm probably a little bit more okay with that. I still hate it. I wouldn't be able to read it. And as much as I like the fact we have nested tuplets, I hate the way that you have nested tuplets. Nested tuplets on guitar, when we play them, it's almost always to add a trill in the middle of a triplet. And therefore, you're always going to have the hammer pull line. So it just ends up looking really hideous in the notation. The other thing I've kind of moved over and started doing in my transcriptions when I'm doing them is I never use Guitar Pro's audio for transcription, but let's save this into Patreon daily transcriptions. If you join Patreon, you'll get access to all of these transcriptions immediately, by the way. Paul Gilbert. Technical diff. Now, clip grab. Now, I'll mute. I'll just play the audio. We'll find the start of the solo. Oh, I need to put the speed in, don't I? Sorry, 2 seconds. 121, but we'll correct that. 121. Okay. It's here. Now, we'll take this. Drag it to there. And it should... It's a little bit faster. Okay, so tempo is a little bit off, We can fix that, though, and it's much easier to do it like this now. I don't use this for audio for 2 reasons. One, I'm using video. I guess 3 reasons. There's a lot more control options in Transcribe, things that I can do, like marking out the bars. The audio manipulation options in Guitar Pro are limited and finicky. I can't do this at the press of a button, pitch shift and things. So I mean, here's a really good example of it. Like, you just can't get things to sync the way that they should. It's not the worst. If I put the audio on, though, they won't be great. I mean, it's more than accurate enough. And I will, in particular, point out how accurate that group of 7 is there. Good enough. Right, I'm going to stick around, guys, for maybe 15 minutes more, and then I'm going to go and get some dinner because I've not eaten. But just as a reminder, if you're watching this stream and you're enjoying what you're seeing, hello, Benjamin. If you're enjoying the stream, then please do consider being like these awesome people, checking out the link in the description, joining me on Patreon. You can do so for as little as $1. It's a great way to support the channel. It's a great way to support my work. It's very much appreciated. It tells me that you love me, and I feed on that. I feed on your love, but I also pay my bills with money. So if I could feed on your love and $1, that would be fantastic. Thanks very much. And you can get loads and loads of stuff in return, obviously. So please do consider that. Check out one of my books, all of that good stuff. Very much appreciated. Let's keep going. Triplets, right? Da ba da da ba da. Would he play that there, though? Again, finished bar. Could just end it here, couldn't I? Then I wouldn't have to do all this work, but I committed, so I'll commit. Yeah, it's definitely an 8 there. Classic lick, right? Classic Gilbert. Another classic Paul Gilbert. It's actually only put 7 in there though, because and again, this is a full-on quantizing job. The only reason I've decided to do that is because I can very much hear that D is on the beat. So which would make that a 6. Again, 7. Better than the other options. This will be an 8. Sevens. What am I doing? Quantizing for the win. Ooh. But as good as we get, it's as good as I'm willing to put in. It's accurate. So the notes are right, and we've not had any red bars. The reality is, like, you know, when Paul does the double picking thing, or the I don't know, I've kind of like categorized these things in my mind, like the reverse roll. This little mechanic he'll often do, where he's descending 7, 10, 8, but then he'll hammer on, pull off, and then come down. It's like the quick little turn, if you like. They tend to be a little bit faster. It's like you would do. You could technically, if you did this, you made this a group of 7, then you would make this a nested tuplet of 3, like that. This would end up being a better representation of what he's playing there. And I don't mind this as a rhythm. I don't hate it. I couldn't read it though. And that's, I guess, the important thing. When it's a group of 8, I can process it, but this is trickier to process. Having said that, this is more accurate than a group of 8, and this also matters. I'm doing nested tuplets in a transcription, and when people look at stuff like this, they can't read it anyway. Like, it's just too complicated to be sight reading this sort of stuff. But demonstrating knowledge of nested tuplets, people are going to not assume. People are going to rightfully make the observation that, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. So I'll leave the nested tuplet in there. I can see he does a position shift here, right? But he's still... Yeah, so he's doing his pattern. This would be a grace note. Sixes? Sixes, again, it's lazy, but one of the things I've learned, guys, is when you're having to put transcriptions up daily and you're deciding to do things as complicated as this, sometimes you need to be lazy. When you work this hard, sometimes you need to be lazy. Same with this, right? So you could put this as a 7, but you could also, because of this is his change of direction, the turn, we could call it that, you can do a nested tuplet there. You can make that a 3. And it ends up being rhythmically a little bit more accurate to what's being played. You could start going through all of his lines and looking for that turn, and then putting like there would be another example. We could make that a nested tuplet in a group of 6, or you could do a group of 7. So if I do, I could slow this down, right? So I do this. If we make this a nested tuplet in a group of 6, it's more accurate, but then it ends. I'm just being stubborn now. I'm just going to do them for the sake of it. For the sake of it. No one needs this level of accuracy. No one's reading that. For a while, I thought you sat in a room with your guitar for hours learning these songs note for note on the guitar. I know I couldn't. Oh, massive click from my wrist. I couldn't. R. Jones. I'm a much better transcriber than I am a guitar player, and I have a lot of issues with my wrist. I couldn't. I'm not a guitar player anymore. I play, obviously. I'm gigging tomorrow. But I think of myself as a musician and piano player primarily, I think. What's Melissa saying to it? You know, I used to learn a lot more when I was a kid, but... Again, there's the turn. You could see this as a group of 4. Ba-da-da-da-do. But I think this is nice and representative of the... I don't want to say the concept behind the idea, because he's not... This isn't a counted thing. Oh dear. He's coming. He is cramming all that in. This is more like ramping things up to that. So I'm actually, again, I'm going to quantize this heavily. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do this. Looks nicer on the page. Gives you all the information you need, within reason. Nope. Oh, whoops. That's better. Quantized. And we're going to stop there. This will be on YouTube in a few days. But I'm happy. You know, I as with everything I do, I'd happily put my name on this. Like, if this was someone wanted to publish this, I would be more than happy to go. Okay, so he's. We need to. It's the band. You know, the band change. It slows down. Let's find that note. It's like there. Ah. I'm, more than happy with that. I'd take the Pepsi challenge. I would take a Pepsi challenge. Last time, I would take the Pepsi challenge for my transcriptions against just about anyone else's in the world. I'm more than confident with my work. And that's why. Again, there's an ad going to run. Oofed. I'm going to keep talking for a second till these ads have run. And then I'm going to say goodbye, like you do. Let me save that. I'm looking forward to posting that one though. That's gonna be a cool one, because of course it is. It's Paul Gilbert. Hey, you're my Padawan, Jeff. So here they come. All right. I guess ads are running. Yeah, you're my Padawan, Jeff. So I should expect your work to be as accurate as mine. What I would hope I don't ever find is someone that's more accurate. Then I would be distressed. But yeah, I'm quite all right with how that turned out. To me, it's very funny. Like all of this stuff that I do, like I love this. I can't tell you how much pleasure I get out of doing stuff like that. How much pleasure I get out of transcribing stuff, because to me, it's like solving a puzzle or completing a video game or whatever. You know, like I have a goal, I have something I wanted to do, and I've just sat down and I've done it. I've done it with my skills, and to me that's no different than I'm going to go in the house in a second. We'll have some dinner, and I'm going to put on my PSVR 2 and I'm going to do some more Gran Turismo. And in Gran Turismo currently I am grinding out all of the gold trophies in the license tests, getting the perfect racing line, and it's just practice gets you there. You put in the time, and I'm not annoyed by it, because it's like my ethos with anything. Like practice puts you there, practice gets you there. And once I'm done with that, I'll go to my piano, and for an hour I'll just sit and go, because I've been working on my minor triads, right? So I'm going to go. Until this is just automatic. You have to know them. Chromatically moving my minor triads back and forward, and I'll enjoy it because I'm getting better because of it. So if there's one thing that you take away from this stream, if you're unable to fix your red bars, that's fine. Just remember, if you practice today, you'll be better tomorrow. So go and do some practice. It's always worth it. You can always make yourself better. And of course, the best way to do that is go and grab yourself a copy of Guided Practice Routines for Guitar. If you don't know what to practice with me. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It was a lot of fun, and I will see you for more videos very soon. Oh, sorry, you're very good at this. Very impressed. Concept of these videos is also really direct, interesting, and helpful. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks very much. Talk soon. Bye.